Welcome to Chapter 2 of Marketing in 4-H Shooting Sports. In Chapter 1, we learn that visual matters, video matters, and customer experience matters. So if customer experience matters, that must mean that the 4-H experience matters, and it does. When you think of a 4-H coach, this is a young person or a person who helps a young person through the ages and stages of life. So let me introduce you to Dylan, one of my past 4-H members. At age 8, as you can see on the timeline, Dylan says, I want to shoot archery. So how does 4-H respond to that stage in life? Well, we provide 4-H and the Shooting Sports Project, along with the Wildlife Project, which Dylan enrolled in. At age 13, he says, I want to be a herpetologist, and he wants to work with snakes. So Dylan is connected with our herpetologist from UNL when we bring him out to teach about snakes at our 4-H day camp. And then at age 15, Dylan says, I need to pay for a car. And so 4-H says, how about the entrepreneurship project called ESI? Let's help you figure out how to have a business in moving wildlife from a barn. And then at age 16, he says, I've decided I want to move up that pyramid from education to recreation to competition. And so he shoots for Nebraska on the recurve team at what was called the National Invitational at that time. At age 18, he says, I'm going to college. And so, of course, we help him meet a college recruiter where they help him get a job at the Outdoor U program on campus. They help him connect back to Dennis he met at age 13 to do a U-Care research project. And remember that business he started, Removing Wildlife? He received an Engler scholarship, which paid for his full college over the 4 years. And now at age 25, Dylan says, I want to give back. There's all these people that have helped me through these ages and stages, so I'm going to become a 4-H leader. And today, Dylan is a 4-H leader in the county where he lives. And this whole time, Dylan was being a part of the National 4-H Shooting Sports Championships by volunteering from the archery range and over to the hunting skills competition. In the end, what happened is we started with the end in mind. We started with, where do we want Dylan to be? We want him to be a caring, competent, contributing citizen of good character because he has been a part of 4-H. And that is what happens as you learn about marketing. You begin with the end in mind. Who are you trying to attract to 4-H and your shooting sports program? And then what is it that you are selling them and what are they buying? So we're going to review today, what is a 7x7 marketing plan and how do you keep your 4-H shooting sports program strong? I'm Tammy Stuhr, Extension Educator with the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. As a part of Nebraska Extension, I also volunteer as an archery coach. I'm newly certified in muzzleloader, and I teach mostly in the hunting and outdoor skills discipline. But there's also the coordinator discipline, which was added. And I'm a trainer at the state and national level for coordinator, which is why I am so passionate about marketing 4-H shooting sports programs. What we need to know is that marketing 4-H and shooting sports is everybody's business, and it needs to be strategic. So the strategy, as you can see at the top of the funnel, starts with a plan. Is it radio? Is it TV? Is it Facebook? Is it face-to-face interaction? What is our plan going to be to reach the designated audience? Once we reach that designated audience and they know we exist, we want them to act. If we have a booth at the county fair, we want them to stop by and find out more about the Shooting Sports Project. And then once they stop by, we want to convert them. We want them to sign on the dotted line that they're going to be a part of it. And then engage, they actually show up to the 4-H Shooting Sports Club or practice. So you can see how the funnel narrows down to create a great 4-H experience as soon as somebody knows that they can be a part of it. So what does a 7x7 marketing plan that really focuses on this funnel look like then? Well, let me take you through the marketing plan that we used for our 4-H Shooting Sports Ambassador program. Now, the target here was to get team members to even know about the ambassador program and then help them actually enroll or interview to be an ambassador. So the target audience, again at the top, is that teen 4-H member, somebody already enrolled in 4-H. So how do you go about reaching a teen? Well, we started with their parents. So there's this secondary audience that has an influence. Maybe you've heard of influencers, but they have an influence on that target audience of the teens, and that's the parents. Well, where are the parents? Well, some research of Nebraska 4-H showed that they're on Facebook on Tuesday evenings. So we chose an opportunity to go online with and try to reach the parents. We also know from marketing that Facebook Live gets more views than just a regular Facebook post. So we chose to go Facebook Live. So the other part about this is you have to know, well, what is it I want that parent to do? How do I want them to influence that teen? And that's where the message comes in. So with the parents, we were saying 4-H Shooting Sports Ambassadors helps take your experience to the next level. That's what we are telling parents, so they would influence their teen in that same way to interview or check out the ambassador program. Then you can see that January through March, we wanted their 4-H clubs is where we are going to reach them by having our current ambassadors present at club meetings about their experience. So what's that message that the current ambassador is delivering to the potential future ambassador? I'm an ambassador, you could be one too. So that's what part of their presentation will be about. Well, text, what do we mean by text? Well, a phone text. We wanted the teens, the current ambassadors, to receive a text from actually our ambassador alumni. So when they would think about who in my past 4-H club could be an ambassador, then we wanted that alumni ambassador to text that person and say, hey, have you thought about ambassadors? I think you would be good at it. And then having a booth at the state archery contest, just that ambassadors exist was our goal there. That was part of the reach. Going to the social media channels. Now notice it wasn't my social media channel that I would be sharing. It was the ambassadors' peers. That's who we wanted them. So that future ambassador, who are their peers? Well, obviously it's our current ambassadors. So they would send out a virtual picture to their friends of them being an ambassador and then reminding their friend that ambassador applications are due soon. An email, well, that was going out to the county extension staff as an audience. So the county extension staff would go back to our target audience and nominate young leaders so we could send out a message to them to let them know that their extension staff thought they would be a good ambassador and they should actually try out. And then the shooting sports leader training. We actually had a current ambassador named Galena present at our Saturday evening session about what is ambassadors and how to encourage their young people to apply. So you can see very rarely did we actually go talk to an ambassador as a coordinator. We used the influencers in that young person's life. So your target audience, in this case the teens, needed to experience a message 7 times in 7 different ways before they would actually ask or think about applying to be an ambassador. Oh, I think about McDonald's. How does McDonald's let me know that the McRib is back or the Shamrock Shake is there in March? Well, the McRib, I found out, I received a Google ad. That's the first time that I saw it. And then when I was driving by McDonald's in my second county that I work in, they had a big sign out that says the McRib is back. They also have it as you drive through to let you know that the McRib is back. And then my town that doesn't even have a McDonald's, they had a big billboard outside saying the McRib is back. South of town, headed towards the McDonald's that I drive to. That would be my nearest McDonald's. Then I turn on the radio and there's an ad. Wow. Did I purchase a McRib at that point? I had not. And I hadn't heard that message 7 times yet. So 7 times in 7 different ways is how your target audience needs to hear the message. And that's how you put together a shooting sports marketing plan. Well, remember those messages over in the right-hand column? How did we decide what the message would be? Well, what the research shows is that you want to create a feeling. So you want to create a feeling of joy. So you're going to use words around excitement, fascination, gratification, trust. It's safe. We're thankful. We have gratitude. Or you can be a part of a select group. That's the intimacy. Or create a message of pride. This is an exclusive group. How lucky could you be? What an achievement. Remember how we reached the parents and we said, take your shooting sports career to the next level? That was that pride and achievement that the parent would feel and then pass along to the young person. Anticipation is another one. And at that point, you want to be using words around encouragement, curiosity, and challenge. And then fear. Fear is actually a really good motivator, unfortunately, or maybe it's an effective motivator, as we've seen in marketing in a lot of different ways. And it can be used, and usually that's like a don't miss out, the deadline's here. I wouldn't say in 4-H that's a brand that we want to create all the time, but yet it's okay to let them know a deadline is definitely coming. So when you look at the 4-H Shooting Sports Ambassador Marketing Plan, can you see where we were building joy, trust, pride, anticipation, and maybe a little bit of fear? So we keep talking about this brand. What is really important when it comes to brand recognition? Brand, the 4-H Clover is really important, right? But what about the brand of your club or your state? What is it known for, and how do you create a brand that people feel good about and want to be a part of in 4-H and shooting sports? Well, first off, you need to know that you have to be insight in mind. They have to know that you exist. Remember that reach part of the funnel? You need logos everywhere. Do you have logos on your targets? What about on any type of books that are being handed out or handouts? What about your signs, your safety signs? Do they have the 4-H Clover on them? Do they have your club name on them? Or a welcome sign telling everybody, hey, welcome to our 4-H event. Make sure your logos are everywhere. And then the swag. Look at today. I have the Clover here. I have the Clovers behind me. I have my name tag on. There's a lot of different ways, from the swag on the kids, on you as a leader, on the staff members, even on your storage cases of your different items, making sure that you are always knowing where that brand is and making sure it is in front of people, usually in a subtle way. So how else do we go about having people recognize our brand once they recognize that we have logos everywhere? Heartfelt stories. Remember I told you about Dylan and how he started a wildlife business and how the 4-H leaders were there? Heartfelt stories about your 4-Hers, about leaders and the path they've taken. This is how you create a brand that people want to be a part of, a story that they want written in their life. So make sure you are getting stories out, whether it's videos, even your local newspaper. A lot of the grandparents and a little bit older generation are still reading the newspaper, making sure you have stories in there about what your club is doing or featuring some of the young people in your program. The other way to provide brand is actually to provide something for free, giving tips away for free. Now, that might seem like, but what about my competitors? What people are finding out, and competitors are finding out, is that they actually want a little bit for free before they'd actually pay for something. I'm not always talking about paying for it with money, but also paying with their time and spending their time there. So provide value to something, give tips, give pointers, give something away for free. Customer service. Wow, what we found out in chapter 1 is customer service is the key to people wanting to be a part of your brand. So if you think about Mr. Owl here, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? 1, A two, crunch 3. Keep in mind, it's the same thing with clicks. People will click one time. If they want to find out a little bit about you, if they have to click a second time, they're gone. Okay, so I know about 4-H. Maybe I want to know about shooting sports. So I'll go to 4-H and click there, and then I'll click on shooting sports. But if I have to click more than that, I'm probably not going to your website or your video. So if I really want to know a lot about you, I'm willing to click 3 times. But if I have to click more than 3 times, you've lost me. So make sure in providing customer service online that it's within 1 or 2 clicks, and if you have to, 3, if you know the audience is really interested. With the virtual program we've been doing lately, we send out a weekly email to our 4-H members, and there isn't a link, as you would say, like www.4h or anything like that. It will say, we are doing Archer Strong, and Archer Strong is highlighted, and you click on Archer Strong, and it takes you right to the program. You want to get everything hyperlinked and ready to go to reduce the number of clicks so everybody's having a great customer service experience when finding you online. So as you look forward at strategizing marketing for an event, like if we have a pancake feed or a soup supper, and you think about, what would my message be? It wouldn't simply be like, the shotgun soup supper is on March 17th at 7 p.m. No, depending on who your target audience is depending on your marketing strategy. So if my marketing strategy and my target audience is the mom who's determining what's for supper, and we want her to bring the family to soup supper, then we're probably going to do something about, we are so thankful for our families, gratitude and trust. Bring your kids over for soup and let us do the cooking for tonight. So think about anytime you're having an event, instead of just putting out the date and the time, how can you actually put a targeted message with that advertisement that you are putting out? So when you look at this, anticipation, you're going to say something along the lines of, I can't wait for this. That's the feeling you want to create in your young people. Or, I have a fear of missing out. I must go to this. So how can you create the fear of missing out if you're using fear? Or joy. Oh my, I just watched this coolest 1-minute video on what it's like to try out the new shotgun trailer. I am so going to that event so I can see what it's about. Oh, trust. Those caring adult leaders telling their heartfelt stories of how happy they are to work with our young people and the difference they've made in the life. Wow, that's one way we can build trust. Or pride. Well, I'm a part of 4-H. I'm a part of that group that you think is pretty awesome and you recognize their brand. So those are some of the ways that you might want to think about tailoring your messages to create those different types of emotions. So when you look at this picture here of this young lady who is helping this man learn about shotgun, or he's helping her, it's part of our practicum that we were doing at a 4-H shooting sports leader training. What happened to get that man to the leader training to begin with? So first off, there had to be a plan, right? He had to know that the 4-H shooting sports leader existed. So there was emails that went out, there were some Facebook posts, it was put on the website. That was all part of the plan, and that was the reach. So he would just know there was a 4-H shooting sports leader training. Then the next part is we had to have that man act. We wanted him to actually be a part of it and go look at the website and find out about 4-H shooting sports leader training, which he was able to do. And then we had to convert him and actually have him sign up. Now we know that these leaders give up a whole weekend of their time. That is a lot of commitment, especially in today's society. So just because they sign up doesn't mean they're engaged. So then you got the reminder saying, hey, come out and be a part of this. But the big question is, why did he show up in the first place? Well, what if it wasn't any of that? What if it was a young lady who he was helping at a youth mentor hunt with Pheasants Forever, and she was a great shot. And he goes, how did you learn to shoot like that? And she says, well, I'm in 4-H shooting sports. He says, well, tell me more about that. Huh, guess what? Marketing 4-H shooting sports just became everybody's business. Even the new young lady who had just started in 4-H shooting sports and recruiting a new adult member just simply by showing up at a youth Pheasants Forever youth mentor hunt. Are your young people prepared to give their little elevator speech if they were asked how they became a great shot? And how can you start building that in your program? So when you start prioritizing marketing strategies for an internal audience of 4-H, here's a young Clover kid who's just smashing up wheat to make some pancakes that day. But how can we prioritize marketing strategies to move that Clover kid to eventually, begin with the end in mind, be a representative of your 4-H shooting sports program at some pretty high level competitions or even some events? I'm Tammy Stuhr, Nebraska Extension Educator. Thank you for joining me for Chapter 2 of Marketing 4-H Shooting Sports. Good luck on that marketing plan.